with it, let's do that. And it's almost like you can cripple this team if you just take those 2 maps away. So I'm actually very, very worried that Immortals is going to allow something through that GODSENT's going to be happy with.
Yeah, we saw that yesterday. We asked the question, and we said when a team's going to figure out that GODSENT have got Cash and Mirage, and if you ban both of them, that already puts them on the back foot. We saw that yesterday.
Yeah, yeah, and it works against them. That's why it's crazy that you would. I'm just very scared, I guess, just to reiterate how frightened I am of Immortals.
Just to make sure everyone knows.
Let's take a look at the vetoes, because they are in. And Inferno is removed by GODSENT. Mirage is removed by Immortals, and they do remove Cash. So they've learned the lesson as well. They've removed the best 2 maps, which leaves us going to Cobblestone, which I guess isn't a favoured map for GODSENT, but...
Yeah, no, this is great for Immortals. No reason for me to be scared whatsoever. They did everything right. I take it all back. But I mean, obviously, once you get past like Cash and Train, I mean, there's the maps after that are just like so much less played for GODSENT. So obviously, Immortals. This is also, remember, Cobblestone used to be a map like going into the EPL finals in Brazil. I know it's a long time ago, but they were undefeated on this map going into this tournament. This used to be a very big like go-to map for them. So they're gonna be very familiar with it. They're gonna be feeling very confident. And GODSENT's only played it once.
If there's one surprise in that veto, Natu, is it not that GODSENT removed Train?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose leaving, does that say something if they want to leave Cobblestone out there?
Because I'm assuming they would look at Nuke and go, well, Immortals will remove Nuke, so that's fine, so we either play Train or Cobblestone. So effectively, GODSENT have picked Cobblestone here.
It is kind of crazy, actually, like GODSENT removes Train for Cobblestone.
Yeah.
Maybe assuming, maybe they prepped for Cobblestone. Maybe they said, you know what, every team's going to be doing this, so like let's not focus on these 2 maps and prep for tomorrow. If it happens to be that we already know what we like to do, let's focus on something else. And maybe they made something out for Cobble.
They made that be execute working overpass over YouTube video very well just right before the game. You know, if they spent a day practicing Cobblestone, they're supposedly the best team in the world on Cobblestone.
Immortals. You've broken Moses now.
I don't know. I don't even know where to go with that one, do I? God bless. No, this is going to be kind of a cool match. Although I'm very worried. I mean, GODSENT's
are you more worried for GODSENT though?
Yeah, absolutely.
Into this
GODSENT's
game?
only game on this was against Gambit, who is also a very good Cobblestone team, but it was a 5-16 loss. So I mean, we haven't really seen much in the last 3 months from GODSENT to say Cobblestone's a great map for them.
Yes, although as Natu pointed out, they may well have been practicing it in the 24 hours they've had since.
There's nothing, no logic applies to this GODSENT team, so it's really hard to judge.
In terms of the way that Immortals approach this, they're going to be more nervous, I would guess, because they're considered to be more of the favourites. They were considered to be one of the top 4 teams here, and therefore an automatic log. So nerves may come into it for Immortals, whereas lack of confidence might be the issue for GODSENT if they get off to a bad start. So that start's going to be crucial for both teams.
Yeah, at the same time, but I think the map here really is the comfort thing for Immortals, because they're going to be fine with this map considering all things. They beat Mousesports just very, very well, with a big scoreline at DreamHack Summer as well.
16-6.
Yeah, and then, like we know, GODSENT, we just don't really know what we're getting into in this matchup.
Is there a possibility that we get like an outstanding GODSENT presentation from this game and it ends up being like goes the other way?
Yeah, there is, because I mean the one maybe not silver lining, but the one like hope they have is when you're playing, we've seen it a couple times when you're playing a map that like you don't have experience on and you're not really you don't have great results on. This is also an elimination match. It's just like that takes the nerves out of it, right? Because you almost are kind of just expected to lose, and as individual players, you don't really have a lot of teamwork and strategies all set up, so that's going to play into the hand of GODSENT, and this might just be play loose. Like, you just have to make plays. So there's going to be I mean, that's kind of the crazy thing is this individual skill. This is where sometimes we do see it just come out of nowhere, manifest out of thin air, and really show off. And that's kind of, in my opinion, the only hope that GODSENT has.
Okay, let's bring in our commentary team, because we've changed things up in the commentary booth for the next 3 games. You've got the lovely voices of Anders and Semler. Boys, good afternoon.
All the lads.
Hey, Paul.
The lads, how you doing?
Very
It's pretty chill in that commentary booth.
It is. I was very relaxing. And you called us boys, so now I feel all young again. I appreciate that, Paul.
Boys in comparison. It's all relative, Anders.
All right.
It's all relative. This should be a really funky game for what the reasons that we were just talking about, which is that one team maybe lack confidence and the other one has some nerves. So we could see anything here.
Yeah, I like the idea that GODSENT defy logic. I think that's a good way to wrap it up. That's pretty accurate, actually.
It fits along with your train of thinking usually, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does actually. I'm a big fan of that myself.
All right.
The question is whether the emotions will boil over. I mean, Immortals.
It's going to be wild.
You're gonna
Lots
have
of
ice
questions.
versus
Lots of
fire
questions.
here,
Lots
you
of-
know,
but you-
Swedes versus the hot-blooded South Americans.
Yeah, there's that in there as well. Who can keep their cool? Who can keep their calm? Lots of questions to be answered, but I'm sure you are more than capable of bringing those answers to us over the next 45 minutes or so. So enjoy the game, guys.
We definitely will. We are going to head into it very soon. It will be on Cobblestone, and this is an elimination match, so a lot is on the line here. It does seem almost criminal that GODSENT have never qualified for a major. Or not GODSENT, I mean the Immortals.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, where are we going with this, Anders?
It feels like it's time, you know. It feels like they've got to find a way to break through here. GODSENT, I mean, you look at the roster, I still feel like on paper, this should be really solid, you know. Like it seems like the whole point of having a team with obviously a proven leader in Pronax and all the rest of it is you're supposed to get out more than the sum of their parts. It feels like they're doing less than the sum of their parts at this point, and that's not good.
No, but there is the edge, like God B with Big in that post-match interview when they played against Immortals and crushed Immortals essentially. God B was pretty straightforward about it. It's just like, well, Immortals are kind of a one-trick pony. Once you figure out how to block them, they have difficulty adjusting. And GODSENT, I mean, Pronax should be well aware of this, and he should be able to find a way to actually counter this. It's whether his teammates are actually going to have the nerves or not. I'm not too worried about Pronax. I'm more worried about players like Disco Doppelin, for example, or Electro.
Yeah, a bit younger, a bit less experienced. I guess we are about to find out. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an elimination match here. Immortals and GODSENT. It's the final day of the PGL Major Qualifier, and we are only about halfway through the day. There's still plenty more to come.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, this is the day where either there's going to be a lot of celebration or you're going to be completely heartbroken. We've already seen a bit of that in the last match, and it's going to continue. And I think the emotional level here at the tournament is so high right now. It's unbelievable. All right, now we're off to a slow start. Lucas is going to be the first point of contact here as they make their way around the corner. Down to 50 seconds, that's not too bad. Lucas finally getting the shot and dropping the bomb all the way in the corner. That's going to buy at least a couple of seconds while they try and see if they can make their way on. KNG, sorry, is just waiting up there by the truck, but they're actually going to rotate back, and there's no one in the B-bomb site. They might have actually found just the perfect call here, GODSENT.
This is Oliver Schneider, though. He needs to stay alive. Exactly, stay alive. And is he going to win a fight? He finds one. And in the meantime, his teammate, Schneider, with 2 big kills. That makes all the difference right there. He just needed to stay alive at that point because he'd cleared out that site. He knew the over-rotate was possible, and he caught them completely off guard. Well done.
That's very interesting. And you wonder now if Lucas sees the bomb drop all the way in the corner and just makes, oh, listen, they got the bomb here. This is it. You know, he sees 3 people peek, he kills 1 using a whole magazine, and then at the end, it's just the wrong call.
Nobody was there to back up the info.
Yeah.
They were holding behind Van on A way back, right? It was just a gut check call, basically, where it's just like, wait, we saw the bomb. It's been dropped. I got to kill. Come on, guys. And unfortunately, that ends up costing Immortals big. Just because, yeah, Schneider, though. Those were 2 huge kills on his part.
Yeah, they were, but I think your point still stands, that it's true. Staying alive was the main thing. Getting 2 kills is just brilliant,
Icing on the cake.
That's great, but you're right. Just staying alive, because if he goes down, then the whole rotation coming in from Plateau is just a bit weird. So yes, why not? I think we have got a quick technical timeout here, and you can tell Disco Doppelin is being helped out a little bit, so yeah, sound issue. So that'll be fine. I'm sure we'll clear it up in a second, and we'll be back into the action.
Listen, not only do you have the god tier admin support of PGL, you got the main admin himself, admin for ESL for years, Messioso standing behind him as well. So I mean, they actually kind of bring everything with them, GODSENT. They've got the in-game talent, and they bring their own personal admin.
I don't think Graham is being allowed to dictate the rules here, though. I can see some conflicts of interest potentially piling up. But yeah, some quick fixing going on, as you can imagine.
I'm picturing, like duels in the West, right? He's got the quickest hand in the West. He'll shoot the wings off a fly, and like Graham should be like, you got a sound audio issue. He'll fix that. He'll fix that before it's even a problem. The man was a legend.
He's got a lot of experience behind him. That's for sure. Been working in esports for a long time. Yeah, now he's here.
Yeah, now he's here. Well, he works for Refresh, right? The overall umbrella corp that's covering GODSENT.
Umbrella Corp. I like that. That sounds Sounds ominous.
Particularly
when you say it like
nefarious,
that.
right? I like it, just a little bit. But yeah, they do own several. Astralis, GODSENT, right? They own several teams, and well, Graham happens to be a part of the org, the overall org, the mother org. But it's, they weren't exactly laying teams like eggs, but might as well be.
Yeah, and we'll see how this is all going to turn out for GODSENT. They are on the edge of not qualifying, which is not where you want to be. They have invested into this round 2 armor and a little bit more. Also a Scout Pronax take down Steel for a good start with the MAC-10 leading the charge, and this is everything you could want. The AK behind, the MAC-10 in front to make sure that even if he goes down, it won't be too much trouble. And Pronax will go down eventually. KNG looking for more, but not going to be rewarded. Schneider goes down in return, so now it's a 3-on-3 with an AK picked up and still a Scout in play. So GODSENT, if they can make the rotation work, it's all fine. Bolts might be there to stop it though. Oh, he's looking the wrong way. Long range spray, not going to be working out against 2 opponents like that. So Henny, I don't know if there's anything you can do right now. This doesn't seem winnable.
No, this is kind of one of those situations where you just save your Scout, and if you could find something else along the way. I mean, there are a couple of SMGs dropped. Unfortunately, Bolts dropped that AK over out in the open on A, so you won't be able to pick that up. So this is just going to be a patience game. Henny should just look to save this Scout for the next round. Maybe invest in Kevlar as well, make himself just a little bit more tough.
Yeah, it's tricky though, right? Because he wants to pick up an AWP as well. I guess maybe KNG does, because he's actually got the money for it. But either way, they're going to want. I mean, they could even go double orb if they wanted to, right? Which is kind of a cool strength of the team. But when they invest all this into the second round, they're not going to be able to do that right away. So now you just wonder what the reply is going to be.
More steady play from GODSENT, who have managed to secure all 3 AKs now. So solid work here for GODSENT to start things off. And you're right. I mean, you got to wonder if it's going to be that mental edge for Immortals, right? GODSENT, you got to feel like they're coming into this nothing to lose, right? They need to just kind of get in here and see what they're capable of. Whereas Immortals, there's a lot of eyes on them looking and saying, right, you need to be a lock. You're like a G2 or something. You should be just through these major qualifiers and on into the major, where you can even be a threat in the groups in the major. And so they have to be careful, because this is an elimination match. Whoever loses this is going home.
Third round coming up here. Not too much to talk about for the Immortals team. Henny's got the Scout, so obviously GODSENT will know about it, and the game here should be trying to figure out where the Scout is, and then if you can quickly grenade it out, then fine, but if not, just go somewhere else, There's no reason to go for a long-range fight against the Scout in this kind of an environment if you're GODSENT. And last round, they managed to slow it down perfectly. As soon as they lost a couple of players in drop here, Schneider and Pronax went down, they just said, listen, let's just not keep doing this, Just go to A instead. And that was the right call.
Well, the issue here is they made a lot of noise. GODSENT towards this B site, and this has prompted the full rotation coming in from Immortals. And so you'll have 4 players here. The headshot from Henny to start things off on Twist, on Plateau. And so long as he stays alive here in Chicken Coop, he is a threat. Schneider and Disco, everybody getting a piece of the action, though, from GODSENT. And eventually they will prevail. GODSENT will manage to stabilize. But there was a definite chance there for Immortals to do some serious damage to GODSENT.
Yeah, very well done, and I think eventually Disco Doppler managed to throw his Molotov. He actually had one the whole time, and he was up on the plateau. So, if you can use the Molotov to get rid of Henny, it was a kill instead, but, just make sure he can't continue to snipe from back there. That's really the main point.
Yeah, as long as he stays alive in Chicken Coop, that's a real pain in the ass, basically. Because if the guys are alive at Connector, then they're cutting that site up from 2 different angles, and so you can't get a safe plant. You need to find kills on one or the other. And there we go. Eventually, get the shot, get the kill, and now we get into the real meat of the matter. This is going to be the 4th round bye for Immortals, and now we get to see exactly what they're going to be bringing to the fray.
And it will be the double up right away.
Okay, well, it looks like Disco got another sound issue. This is annoying as well. If you're GODSENT, both teams, really, you just want to keep going. These pauses here.
Yeah, I mean, it is sort of the nature of the business, isn't it, though? So I guess it's just maybe he's doing it to himself, Maybe he's getting so excited that he's like ripping out his headset and then it breaks.
Before the time of timeouts, right? That was kind of oh, admin, I can't hear my teammates in TeamSpeak. Sound issue.
Yeah.
And then you got a little bit of a timeout there to discuss or to cool down. I mean,
so just to go through this while we have the time, Henny's got no grenades. He's got an AWP and armor, but no head armor. KNG's got no armor at all, but 2 flashbangs and an AWP. As far as I can tell, no one is going to be able to buy a defuse kit. And they have 3 smokes and 1 Molotov, and that's more or less it. So, I mean, from Immortals' point of view, if GODSENT continue to play this slow style, and what I really like, and this is actually something that works, I think, exceptionally well on this map, is you go for a bit of aggression, which just means you take a fight at plateau or drop over towards B.
Yeah.
But then once you have the initial fight, even if it goes, you trade 2 for 2, then you just wait for a long time. You wait, and then you re-engage again. And that's really hard on the CT side because they're going to use a lot of their utility in the first round, in the first wave, as it were, and then they will have almost nothing left at the end. And it's kind of hard to deal with. So right now, Immortals, I would like to see them take a risk, especially with 2 AWPs, right? Try and find the first kill with one of them. Probably not KNG because he doesn't want to run into any grenades. But then let Henny, he's that kind of opera anyway.
Exactly.
Let him go for it. Let him find a kill first, and then you can relax. That's my suggestion for this round anyway.
No, certainly. I mean, that's how pretty much Immortals became a threat on Cobble, was the aggressive opping from Henny, that flick speed that he demonstrated time and time again over on B Plateau, one of his favorite peaks, to the point where oppers were just starting to hold this angle towards Broken Wall, ready and waiting, and sure enough, guess what? It's not going to happen. Instead, it's over towards A. Now, Henny's holding passive on B site. They've split up the AWPs. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily a big fan of this position that Henny's in, especially when Steel is holding so far back and drop, because if Henny could just hold this angle, I'd be all for it. But if Steel gets smoked out, then Henny has to cover drop and plateau, and Bolts can't even really help out with it. I just don't like this setup at all for Immortal. I don't think it's worth. Now it's much better. Now I'm loving it. I've changed my mind. Lucas is going to go down. The timing not working out in his favor. He did land a pretty good grenade on Disco, but probably not going to be good enough here. KNG trying to fall back. This is, again, a dangerous position to be in when you don't have the armor, and this is not getting better either. He can be grenaded down almost immediately, and here comes all the Molotovs. He's going to make the jump up. He misses the chance. Down to 6, and there's the fire. Taking him out. Twist for the kill on Steel, and 4 versus 2. Big plays here for GODSENT.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect execute onto the A site. Smoke for balcony, smoke for connector, Molotov below balcony, Molotov on the site. Just very clean stuff there for GODSENT. I'm impressed. And all of that based off of a big kill on Lucas. And really, Lucas, all you can do is kind of shake your head.
Well, he's probably thinking, if they're going to come, they're going to throw that classic flashbang that bounces into the wall and up above the window. So as soon as I hear the bounce into the wall, I'm going to throw my HE, and then I'm ready, It's not a bad thought. It's just that when they don't do that, you've got no information at all that they're coming. You're never going to be tipped off to it until they shoot you in the face.
The one and done.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of heartbreaking. That's not the best way to get started. And the next problem is KNG not really finding anywhere to stand on that bomb site where he wouldn't be easily grenaded. It's so hard when you don't have the armor like that. And then, of course, the Molotov to clear out that position as well. It's pretty good stuff overall. The Swedish team now going to be 4-0 and moving into the 5th round. This is a pretty T-sided map, so I'm not really that concerned for Immortals right now, but I still am. I'm disappointed more than anything that they haven't tried to go for an aggressive peek somewhere. I want to see someone do that, preferably Henny.
Yeah, that's what he is so good at, and he's setting it up now. Here comes the broken wall peek. But the smoke goes down perfectly to block him off.
Oh, he wanted to make the jump. I think what you just saw was the initial stages of like a, bit of a bunny jump into that angle. I mean, at the edge of the smoke could definitely be done. But flashbangs are countering him. And now he's just going to try and relax for a minute again here.
Just wait for the smoke to clear. Unfortunately for him, however, he will find no targets. GODSENT, they've rotated all the way over towards A. They had some success. I mean, last round, it worked out perfectly. So perhaps now they're thinking, let's actually figure out how to get through here. It could also be the fact that Henny usually plays on B. Might be a factor. KNG, though, showing that they have a FAMAS, that they have bought up, and that catches Pronax off guard. Jumping out into the open, he gets punished, and Steel taking a little bit of damage.
Immortals, this is definitely the round to win, but what a great flashbang to come through. Lucas never stood a chance, and that leaves him in a 4-on-4. A lot of damage onto Steel hiding behind that truck, and 40 seconds, they're still committed to it. The flank has failed from Bolts, and now K&G has done a lot of work already looking for the triple, but he runs out of bullets, and now he's in a really awkward spot. And Henny, can he put this AWP to use? He's trying with a pistol instead. I'm not sure that's the right move, and now they're getting flanked from the balcony. Disco Dublin a couple of steps away from winning this round. There's going to be one kill there, and Henny's just in a world of trouble right now. They're all over the place. He's going to land a headshot that's very impressive, and he's waiting for it, trying to climb through, and Disco Dublin will be there for a triple kill to take the round in favor of GODSENT here. That's very impressive and very well done. This is a tough round for Immortals to win. I do want to congratulate Kenji for what he did the first engagement. He killed one guy with a FAMAS, and then he actually just hid behind that wall and fell back. A lot of players would have tried to fight, like they would have out of panic. And the fact that he fell back was very well done. That's he did everything right in that scenario. They lost Lucas over long, and the whole thing fell apart.
It's what a use of utility from GODSENT.
Yes.
They slowed it right down. We have all of these grenades, boys. Let's just keep throwing flashes in. It was almost like a metronome. Ting, ting, ting. Just going off regular. All of the nades being used before actually looking for the duels. I like it. So it's hard to get players to calm down. You see players just running in with full utility sometimes, and you're just like, why? Just use a smoke, use a flash, use a Molotov. You have 4 nades. Just use one before you just run in there looking for a headshot. It's not DM.
Well, this time they have nearly nothing. Henny's picked up a UMP. Twist goes down. That's a good kill with the C75. Bolts finally could see something. Oh, there's a chance here. Henny picking up a kill as well. Immortals trying to turn it around here now. 1 versus 2. And Lekro fighting to keep this round in GODSENT's side. He's down to 17 health, and Lucas got a deagle. That means 1 shot. And Lekro is out. Lucas moving in, but he gets the headshot, Lekro. Another triple kill to save the round for GODSENT. Man, Immortals really are trying to play this game on hard mode, aren't they?
I love it, man. More importantly, he gets the body shot. No Kevlar for Lucas means he's getting aim punched all to hell as soon as that first shot comes in from Lekro. 6-0, Anders. 6-0. But now we have another big buy coming in here for Immortals. So this is going to be that big moment.
We'll see. They've been... I mean, we've talked about this broken wall early peak, and that gets cancelled every time by the Molotovs that are coming in from GODSENT, right? So they're doing a pretty good job making sure that Henny doesn't get many chances to play that way, and that's definitely part of the story here.
Oh, here we go. This is looking like a big execute coming through. The Molotov timing is excellent here for Immortals, but there's still a chance, a gap for Pronax to get out onto the site, and he doesn't even care. He's planting right in the smoke. Bolt spray clear over his head and has no idea where he's coming from, and Schneider is there to pick up 1. 1-for-1 trade, steal, key kill there. Drops Pronax, and now a 2-man advantage for Immortals going into the retake. They have managed to swing it their way, Anders.
Surely this is the round. Schneider trying your best to pre-fire it. Kind of a hard position to play in, but he does get the kill. And KNG taking down Disco Dublin. So that will be Immortals winning their first round. Well played, and even more importantly, they survive with 4 people intact.
That's like such a stylistic thing, though. You know, it's like we're talking a lot about Henny with his early broken wall peak, but seeing Pronax just get a smoke execute and planting in the smoke, I mean, that's just something that Pronax does. Way back in the day, they were coming up with smokes where it's like, okay, if we just put the smoke onto the site, you can plant in the smoke and they won't know where you're planting, right? You don't even need to take the fight. It's funny to see Pronax going for that again, even today.
Yeah, I've been trying to advance that theory only on the A-bomb side of this map, because I think it's quite possible. The plant zone extends quite further out, and no one ever tries to have a plant in it, and you just need smokes to do it. But I'm not making any progress on that front, Sam. I've tried to convince. I actually think I've tried to convince Pronax of it once before, and even he didn't want to hear it. So maybe it's just a terrible idea. Oh, a little bit of, actually quite a bit of fire damage onto Lekro.
That just sucks. Unlucky. Just barely spreads far enough to get him there.
So that's how you fight the zombies from the north, isn't it? With fire.
You gotta you gotta lay him out.
Yeah.
No, what is it? Rebirth.
Yeah.
No, what am I looking for here? They revive, they regenerate. No regeneration, I guess. There you go.
Something like that. I was gonna say, you should know. You've read all the books, haven't you? All the Game of Thrones stuff.
Yeah, and I don't even care anymore.
You don't care. All right.
It's so obvious that he's just created way too many threads and he has no idea how to close them anymore. So he's just like, well, I'm kind of in a shit spot right now, and I put myself in this spot.
I wouldn't want to be in your Twitter feed now. You know, people getting angry.
They can get angry. It's fine.
All right.
You want to read a good series? Go read Master and Commander or something. That's some god tier writing right there. But
Okay. Well, there's the recommendation, guys. KNG is holding over towards long, quite close range with the AWP, but I don't mind this. I think this can work out. We'll see if GODSENT are going to have any more good flashbangs. That's a nice jump from Lecro. He actually gets the kill anyway. That's a pretty good job from KNG, but it's not good enough yet. Steel has to stay alive and get a couple of kills. He's picked up what a headshot on Twist. That's everything they needed. Now another one comes in, Steel with a triple. Magnificent play coming out of the Brazilian player here. And now it's Schneider, 1 versus 3 and no time left at all. Getting the kill won't help him. Steel is an absolute hero in this round. That's so well played. If he just gets the first kill and dies, there's a strong chance they still lose that round. All 3 of them. Beautiful play.
what a monster. That's what the Immortals needed. They needed somebody to step up and start actually hitting some crazy shots. We're going to have the replay, sure enough. First one, and then the calm tapping until he finds Twist. Oh, excellent work. But you need these guys, for Immortals, on the CT side in particular, on Cobble, you really do need some individual plays in key rounds that'll keep you in the fight. It's so difficult to set up a proper defense on these bomb sites that'll really stop a T-side cold. So having somebody who's willing, or able, rather. I like it. All right.
Twist was ready for that peek, though.
He was, so I think that's the one time that Lucas is going to get to use that, because they're probably going to be checking every time now. Bit of a shame that it's on an anti-eco that he actually goes for that boost.
It's true, but at the same time, Immortals is happy to pick up any rounds at all, Like right now, they want to make sure. Schneider has picked up a hero AWP. Oh, sorry, did he save it? He saved it from last round. I'm making that up. But yeah, he's still got it. And he's got a little bit of grenade damage on him. Maybe he could find an opening. I think this is an alright use of the AWP. Sneaking in through drop.
Not usually the angle you'd expect. You're kind of... Henny's probably thinking that he's going to see it over on Plateau. Disco Doppelin has been picked off by Henny. Bolt's holding close. Schneider, will he get rewarded? Sure enough. Beautiful. And so that's all he was looking for. That element of surprise to pick up the 1 kill. Unfortunately for him, however, Bolt's is holding right around the corner. Yep. So this could get nasty for Schneider. One more shot and Bolt's might decide it's time to pounce.
Yeah, they don't really have any grenades to initiate the fight. Like, if Steel had a grenade over here, he could sort of flash someone in to drop and flash bolts in, and maybe they could set something up, but they are kind of in a situation where they almost have to just wait around for a while here. We are down to 20 seconds, so I think Immortals should still have this on lockdown. Assuming they don't lose any more players to Deagles. KNG goes down as well. There comes Bolts, but he's getting shot in the back, and suddenly it's turned around. Lucas is on the rotate, and he just needs a couple of bullets on either player, but there is an M4 in play if they could steal the AWP, but even then, even without it, Lecros does a Deagle. Immortals. This is a round you're supposed to win without too much trouble. Well, Lucas has to do it all on his own here. Yeah, Molotov, that's a good idea. Gonna land right on top of Pronax, forces him out, nearly takes him down, in fact, but now, clock's ticking quite far. He's getting shot in the back with a Deagle as well, and the crossfire is in play. This is not easy at all. Is he just going to pick up the AWP and make a run for it? No, he's actually going to try and see if he can tap the bomb once with the pistol out now instead. Goes back for a bit more, but there's no more time left. GODSENT, absolute upset round. No chance to save the AWP either. You can sort of tell, I think, from Lucas' reaction. Also from Lucas' reaction, that was not a good time.
No, and well, that was a bitter pill, but GODSENT had to deal with that earlier when Immortals won a pistol save, right? Now, GODSENT able to actually get an eco round off of a single saved op. Schneider with 2 kills, really making it count. And the patience there.
See, this is where, as commentators, we get to get our cake and eat it both, right? Because, and it's wonderful, right? Because what could have happened is they could have tried to fight Schneider instead. Like, we said maybe they flash in, they go and fight him. If that had failed, we would have said, oh, why are they being so aggressive? Just wait. You've got all the weapons. You don't have to be so aggressive, right? But now instead they were so passive that they gave him the space to use that all, multiple times. So it's kind of hard. What it really shows is that that's just not an easy position to play. Like you don't exactly know how to do it. And Immortals, you could tell that they weren't entirely sure how to deal with that open drop. If they'd had more grenades, I think it would have been easy enough, but they just didn't.
Well, yeah, it's just Lekro staying alive on plateau for ages. Because Bolts, he's supposed to be the one watching drop. And so the teammate of Bolts rotating in from connector, he's probably rotating in just thinking, okay, Bolts has got that angle, I can run in, and then I'll back him up, we'll get the crossfire. Instead, he gets point blanked by Schneider. So just the angle's not quite working out for Immortals, the timing either. And we have a force buy from Immortals now, and so we'll see. Can they make this work? Nice HE. So much damage on a Pronax. He just goes charging right in, but Schneider's there to trade.
Yes, he is. Steel with a pistol, gets a stunning headshot, taking down Disco, and Steel knows Schneider's going to put up that smoke behind him, and actually he's going to walk back out again. This might be a genius move from Schneider. In fact, it will be. That's so well played. He goes for the second and takes down Steel. Schneider with the triple kill, saving the round once again for GODSENT. A quad kill comes in. Necro is going to get the kill on Lucas, but Schneider just worth his weight in gold right now. 8-2. And moving into the 11th round. That's a big turnaround.
16-1 and 4 for Schneider right now.
It's ridiculous.
Just impact frags all day long. There aren't many anti-eco, easy frags here. It's just like pat yourself on the back and feel better. No. This is sick. Right through the smoke with the mind games. Bolts never knew what hit him, but this fight, the man fight with Steel. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure he's loose.
Give that man a massage. Whatever he needs. Just bring it his way. Quick hand job. Just whatever's required at this point. Just make sure he's playing this well.
Listen, they're all after the happy ending here right now, Andy. And that happy ending is a spot at the major.
Probably even better. 11th round, and we've got another eco round coming in here from Immortals. Good position from KNG within one-shot range of the P250, and Lucas gets a headshot, but that was outside of the range, which is why he survived, Semler. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah. Turns out, pistols, it's not one shot all day, like at whatever range, yeah.
No. If you had the deagle.
Oh, I hate that. It hit the tire.
That's amazing.
That's unreal. The Molotov bounces off the tire into the air. Okay, then.
Yeah, it's really interesting how that works. The angle of approach. It's like if it's too steep, it blows up no matter what, but if you get it just right, then they go all over the place.
Well, no reason to push through the murder hole here. And he, though, will take a peek. Gets punished.
Yeah, and Bolt's just hoping for exit frags. Definitely will be 9-2 here in favor of the GODSENT team.
This is starting to get into a comfortable territory for GODSENT, though. You have to admit. Like, now is pretty much the time where the pressure is on Immortals. The fact that GODSENT were up 6-0, okay, fair enough, right? You're still within your comfort zone there if you're Immortals. But now 8, soon to be 9. This is getting very good for GODSENT, whereas now Immortals really need to lock down the last 4 rounds in this half.
Yeah, if they can make a 9-6, I think then Immortals will shrug and say, that's fine. If they get 5 rounds, I still think it's acceptable. 4 rounds, then that's getting really uncomfortable.
We're pushing it,
and like at that point, your buffer or like your margin of error is just so small that you can't make many mistakes. Like losing the pistol round is devastating, especially to the team morale. Immortals. I want to, where's the... I guess they are just hyper-focused at this point, but, where's the explosive energy when they win a round? Like, I need that back, but...
Yeah. That's what we were talking about with Waylander yesterday, right? If things go wrong, he just waves his arms all over the place, but when things go right, he seems pretty reserved. It's like, no. Just, if you're going to have that kind of energetic, emotional style all times, just show it at all times and really try and maintain. It's tough to do, though, because it demands so much energy of you. But, I mean, this is an elimination match, Andrews. Like, you need to be putting it all on the line right now for both of these teams. They're both 1 and 2, and you're going home if you lose 3 times here at this major qualifier.
Just walk close to 150 ADR on Schneider.
He's just a beast.
Yeah. Oh, boosted up in the fire. He's dead. No chance. Nowhere to go. What a horrible turn of events for Immortals. They can finally buy. They've had save after save and half buys and just terrible upsets. Finally, they get rifles in their hands, and now they're going to get crushed on the A-bomb side. They've got almost no chance to defend this. This is really terrible. Steel has done a fantastic job, but he can't deal with this charged and eventually stabbed with the AK-47. Disco Doblin with the kill, and Bolts and Henny just have to back it up. This is like an absolute nightmare right now for Immortals.
Man, whoever made that call though to double Molotov drop.
Yeah,
they deserve a big pat on the back. A cookie, a beer, you know, whatever. But that was such a sick call.
20 kills and 4 deaths on Schneider. He's completely out of control at this point in time. It's very, very interesting. 10-2 is the scoreline. Immortals back with just no money at all. I mean, they've lost 4 rounds in a row, but they just don't have the money to really buy anything here. Gonna be a max 7 on Henny. I suppose that makes sense. Just try and get something in there.
It's just, I love to see Schneider performing at the level we know he can. It feels like it's been ages, but this man is a major champion. He won the first major along with Pronax and Fnatic.
Yeah.
And so and then he kind of just dropped off the face of the planet. Just so happy to see now, you know, 2017, Schneider's back, mad fragging. Versus a team that some would say is a favorite to make it through the qualifiers.
I would definitely say that, yes. I mean, especially if you take into just account how weird GODSENT have been looking in this qualifier. Just not necessarily their best form. I suggested on social media maybe they had contracted Ebola and people got really mad at me. But if that is the case, then they found the cure, and that's good news. We should get them tested right away. Henny is playing close range here to the broken wall. Unlikely, I think, that he won't be flashed, but as it happens with the Max 7, that's still sort of a coin flip that you get the kill anyway. So we'll see how this works out. Bolts with the Deagle trying to fall back, and Henny not really able to find him. Flashbang will get him killed, so the wrong side of the coin this time for Henny. KNG and Lucas now in a 2 versus 5 with no chance at all.
The nade usage from GODSENT is just brutal.
Yes.
Round after round, when they have a full buy and have everything that they want, their flashes are on point, their mollies, oh boy. Oops. Oh, now you know where the last guy is. Wonder where he is, Anders.
Yeah, but they can probably do the math, can't they?
All right, another round on the board for GODSENT. 11-2. And yeah, now Anders, these are end days here for Immortals. Best case scenario, 4 rounds on CT side Cobble. That's cutting it pretty fine.
Listen, I can't find any other way out that say you have a playmaker in Henny. Like, the whole point of having someone like Henny in a team, in my opinion, I think actually every team needs someone like this, is to break this kind of momentum, you know? Get crazy kills when things are looking really bad. Just go for it. Go for the fight. If you're not going to do it, then no one from the team will. And then you're just going to keep losing. So
he's trying to do that right now. He's on Plateau right now with that AWP. Could we go to him, please? There's a fight on Plateau right now. B-site Plateau.
Oh, maybe the observer broke.
Maybe something went wrong.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks because as you're talking about Henny trying to make a play, he was doing just that on Plateau, and he took a lot of damage because of it. Looked like a firefight between him and Pronax over there.
Yeah, 16 health. At least he tried. Like, credit to Henny. I think that suggests to me anyway, in the narrative that I have created for myself, that he understands that's what he sort of has to do, you know. I think it's the right move. But this goes back to the thing that we were talking about earlier. GODSENT have been very good at shutting him down. Like, I think that's absolutely part of the story here in the first half, is that Henny's been having a hard time finding those opening. He wants to jump into that fight at B long. Or they've been trying to boost, admittedly not Henny, but they've been trying to boost up into the drop there. KNG in a spot with the AWP, sees one, and tries to get the following flick. It will be Lucas with a headshot, taking down Twist, and Pronax is solo on health. This might be doable. Necro goes down, Steel coming out, and they're falling left and right here. And Disco Doblin gonna get a kill, but it's all just for show. Oh! Gets one more in, tries for a third flick. He's got 10 seconds though, so he can't win the round, but this is still a pretty good job in terms of just doing some damage and making life harder on Immortals for the upcoming and 15th round. Interesting.
There we actually have what happens when Immortals start hitting some shots. And actually, man, I mean, we saw KNG miss the first shot. That was a bit of a shame. But the nades weren't quite there for GODSENT in this round. It was more of an aim fight, it seemed like, between both of the teams. And so GODSENT maybe, you know, feeling just a little bit of nerves there towards the end of the first half. Not quite executing as cleanly as we've seen. But then again, their A execute, they have kind of struggled. They had a nice one, like a nice round, where they just had plenty of nades, and Immortals kind of just played into it. You know, they were GODSENT were using their nades, and Immortals were looking for headshots, and it kind of just played into GODSENT's hands. But the past couple times they've gone for an execute on A, it hasn't really panned out nicely. Bolt's the one to try and make a play here on Plateau B site.
Bolt's quite aggressive, getting a headshot on Lekro. That's a good start, and he could have got Schneider maybe, but he's back with another kill here. Oh, 2 for 1 for Henny, and nearly gets the third flick in. That would have been everything they needed now. It's just 2 versus 3 instead, and hiding at the edge of the smoke. Steel, who's been playing just a brilliant game all first half, and maybe the only one for Immortals who's just really stepped up when it counted. Twist is now in a 1-on-2. He was just in a 1-on-3. Oh, is he going to try and fake that as a drop sound and fall back? What is this next level?
Does he change at all?
He's going to run
come
all
from
the way
A?
around.
I mean, he's got so much time. Luckily for him, he's in a 1v2, and he started it at 1:10 left in the round. Plenty of time. Now, yeah, exactly. Steel is already watching Connector. He's worried about drop, really. His teammate is going to be focused on Plateau.
My sides, if he runs out of bullets in the AK and can't pick up the pistol.
And he's only got 7. Please reload. Just reload, please.
Oh, is that?
No, wait,
that
no.
really
What is that? 7 out of 35.
No, that must be the Deagle stuck. The Deagle HUD probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh well. Flashbang goes out. He knows where Lucas is. He's still got 20 seconds here. It was just a 1v3. Now he's got a real chance. Oh my God! Twist gets the headshot. Unbelievable. GODSENT finishing the first half 12-3. That is how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to make it to the major, that's the level you've got to reach, apparently. That's so nuts.
You got to not hit the camera, too, there. That was a little awkward. A little bit of a wobble. That was an expensive mistake. No, Twist also showing the kind of level that he can hit when he wants to, when he has the time. The collateral there from Henny doesn't get much better than that.
Oh, my God.
But he doesn't make the follow-up shot. And you would think that's the kind of shot that really Henny should be able to hit every day of the week. But
1 versus 3. They have the bomb in the site. They know where he is. And I just can't believe Twist can't believe it either. Second half coming up here. GODSENT a couple of more rounds. This is an elimination match. If Immortals lose this, they are out of the qualifier. They won't be making yet another major. They need just an utterly epic comeback to make this one work. Trying to get into the site, but Schneider is there still wreaking havoc and getting kills on the Brazilian side. It's Disco Doblin to go down next. Bolt sneaking in behind. 2 big kills coming through. And he wants to keep fighting. They've got them locked in. They've got them boxed in. And there's nowhere for them to go. GODSENT now just Lekro trapped in the corner. And in a 1-on-3 with a bomb down as well. They should hide. They should not be fighting him. Just leave him alone until he tries to actually defuse the bomb. Goes for another kill. He gets the headshot looking for it. Almost. Henny able to get the refrag finally. But that's... I think we're seeing the level of breakdown on the Immortal side. Why are you fighting him?
Lekro just runs out of bullets at the end. Looked like 2 more bullets and he had the headshot there. Lucky break for Immortals, but sometimes that's just how it goes. But you're right. You're absolutely right. They keep challenging him over and over, 1 at a time, no less. And that's a bit of a scary situation if you're actually talking about a man who's looking to clutch. Don't just keep dueling him. 12-4 though, and Immortals, they keep their hopes alive. They managed to pick up the pistol round here on T side. 12-4 now. And we have a bit of eco management coming in here from GODSENT, not fully committing.
Good.
You know, a couple of them hold off for the Kevlar.
Why? This is very reasonable. Why go for any kind of a risk when you've got this massive a lead? You just need to 4 more rounds. Why not have them be 4 fully equipped rounds where you've got no issues at all? Lekro gets a kill after some initial fighting going on over at B, and then Twist is alone trying to see if he can make it up. He does turn around perfectly with a flashbang. That's pretty good, but Steel will do it. Another triple kill for him. Steel's just been a champion this game. He's got 14 kills. And I think almost every important round has had Steel's hand in it somewhere. For Immortals, that is.
Yeah, for Immortals. He's had a few big kills, but he is kind of still trailing 14-5-15. Schneider still reigns supreme on the server, though. And, well, that's understandable. His team has got such a huge lead. Countdown has begun in another round of eco. Hard eco this time coming in for GODSENT. Not even a flash picked up. They really are. It's Schneider spending $300, and that's it. Oh.
There we go, Henny. Very popular smoke. Usually it's thrown right away by the first guy who's running in if you want to rush it.
Yeah.
You can see it's landing a bit late, so giving an opportunity for GODSENT to return some fire. Good grenades coming out, and eventually they're going to stabilize with bolts picking up a couple of important kills, and Henny will close out the round. So a bit of a moment where you just think, not this again.
Him messing up that timing on the smoke is what, it's just like his teammates are expecting that smoke to be there at a certain time when you run out, and then the smoke isn't there. And so maybe just a pause for confusion. Also a clever boost, the fact that they actually put Schneider in a position to get that P250 blazing away to great effect. Man, just to pick up 2, or at least set up 1 for his teammates. But that's not that wasn't, kind of like a half-buy round from Immortals. That ended up costing them a little bit more versus a hard eco, giving up 2 kills. When you're rocking AKs and Galils, that's not exactly ideal. Really getting the angle right.
6-12 as a scoreline here. Immortals are down, but they're not out yet. No. They're still hanging. I mean,
anything is possible. There's still a couple of players, on GODSENT where they may get a little shaky under pressure here. As it begins to mount, you need to close the game. Tournament life on the line. And Lucas down through the smoke to 27 HP.
At least he just has the Galil, so now, use some of those grenades to set up for, and then...
but this is what we haven't seen really from Immortals. Look at this on Plateau.
Yeah, you're
the
right.
Information push. GODSENT, they're willing to go aggressive over towards B Plateau and actually get in there. Try and stumble up Immortals if anybody was over here, although Bolts was holding really passive in B halls. I do like it from GODSENT, getting a little active at least.
We're seeing just opposites approaches here, and it's also because Immortals have let them, get all this space. Now they start rotating people towards the A bomb side. They've got 3 here, almost a 4th coming in. This is going to be very hard for Immortals to break. Bolts will go and check B long, but he's now realized he's not seeing anyone there. Instead, flash into middle. Oh, steal again! Getting the kill on Twist. Is there anything he can't do right now to keep them in the game? They need to celebrate. If this comeback happens, then Steel has got to be the MVP of this game, at least for Immortals. Going to be Molotoving out that little room, and now Pronax up here behind the truck. Schneider still finding more kills. Henny will get 1 before he goes down, and they're finally going to be able to take care of Lekro, but it takes so long. Schneider can instantly get the refrag for another double kill of his own and make it a triple of a total of 26 in just 19 rounds.
Oh, and he wasn't able to make it in time for the AWP?
No.
Oh, what a shame. So no op here for GODSENT. That's a bit of a shame because that was a free donation, gladly given by Immortals. Well, not so gladly, but whether they like it or not, that op was possible for Schneider to pick that up.
I'm really glad you brought it up because it's really fascinating the difference between who has plateau control and how much it matters for the rest of the map. And we saw Henny try and get it again and again, and he kept getting smoked out and then grenaded out, and then, they fell back on the side and they never knew what was coming. A bit different here for GODSENT and a bit different for Immortals. Now another push comes in. This could be very dangerous. They could get flashed and taken out very quickly. Schneider immediately blind, tries to go for the spray, and actually he's going to be able to, but a great triple return between Henny and Lucas leaves it with just Twist and Pronax, and Twist is on a bit of a mission here.
Now, how insanely frustrated have you got to be if you're GODSENT? You literally set up for the hard counter there. 3 players on Plateau. 1 flash basically made it all possible there for Immortals.
Yeah.
Just that little bit of an edge. Now, well, 2 versus 3 retake on B. This is kind of that situation where GODSENT might be thinking that they need to back off and save those guns unless they can get a kill very quickly. Both Pronax and Twist have got kits, and Twist wins a key fight versus Bolt. Time to play, but Henny finding the shot on Pronax pretty much snuffs this.
A lot of damage in here, but still shouldn't be possible. I mean, they should be able to hide. Yeah, Twist, this is the right move, even though it's frustrating. Getting exit kills maybe could be worth it, just to keep the economy very low, but yeah, Lucas is gone. It's not a bad play from Twist at all. Would have been disappointed if you're trying to go for the 1 versus 2. Again, if you're GODSENT, you're just thinking, we need as many rifle rounds as we can get to just get the last 3 rounds. That's all we're thinking about. So, and actually, directly countering all the wisdom that I was just trying to pour out there, they buy straight in this round.
This has got to be them thinking only 1 player survived last round. If we can play with Twist on the rifle, Lekro with the shotty, right? If we can just somehow break their backs, GODSENT. If they beat Immortals here in this round.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to push all the chips into the middle of the table, Anders. Feels like Pronax, he's decided he made that call. He's going all in.
I'm not sure. It works for a vanishingly small number of people, and all the rest just make the casino really rich. So, I'm not sure. I still think they could have... I mean, I realized they would have probably had to save the next round anyway, but I would have preferred it maybe if they had... oh, nice. Good job. I would have preferred if they'd gone for orbs or something in the... Not the next round, but the one after that. It isn't done yet. There's still the M4 in play for Twist, and Schneider will go down. That's a bit of a shame. Twist with a good kill, taking no damage at all, and trying to reposition himself for a second one. That's a great job on Twist. 2 really good kills, but retaking with the max 70 for Lekro should not be possible.
Yeah, they heard him too. Free fire coming in from Henny, spots the side. Ooh, I like it from Lekro. Not quite enough, though. He's getting caught on the edge. What is he trying to do? Is he trying to save a gun or something?
Yeah, I think he was just hoping for a chance.
He set the bait on the hook, made some noise as if he was running away. Absolutely no reason for Henny to try and fight this, though.
No, either way, they've got the bomb side. The only question is, will Henny live through this round? So, and he will. It's a really good job. And finally, we're seeing a slight sign of positive emotions from Immortals. 8 and 13 from a 12-3 first half. That's worth pointing out. That's worth thinking about.
Yeah, that's 5 rounds so far in the second half, and they are. I mean, now they've actually got the control going for them. It looks like we have no timeout. Just a quick countdown there, and Pronax trying to rally the troops.
Money for GODSENT is so bad.
Yeah, they've got 2,000 across the board pretty much. Hard eco from them, so they're going to try and set up for a buy in the next round. Fair enough. Just wondering if they have any kind of strategy in mind that revolves around the UMP. Oh, what is that? The wallbang him from Henny. So clean. 4 kills in the anti-eco. Beautiful.
But now, I mean, Lekro saving the sake is really big news for GODSENT. Again, everything is going to matter. There's a good chance this game is going to go all 30 rounds. And when you get towards the end there, we've seen this time and again throughout this qualifier and just generally throughout the history of Counter-Strike, you end up in a situation where you needed one more rifle, you needed a couple of more grenades, anything like that. You don't have a defuse kit in the 30th round. It can all be traced back to stuff like this. Lekro trying to make a run for it. It's gone classic cobble and hiding in the sniper tower.
No need to peek. I know, right? I think it was Henny up here with the AWP earlier as well when he was saving one of the rounds. Try to take a pot shot at somebody. That was pretty funny. But it's like Immortals, you can lose 1 gun hunting this guy because you don't have much money yourselves. So throwing a lot away to try and get this single gun off of Lekro, not sure if it's worth, and they don't actually commit to the tower. So somehow Lekro survives, and all 4 players survive for Immortals. So they'll continue building that reserve, that bank. Henny more than enough to buy his AWP. Excuse me. Let's see.
So worth it for Lekro. Very well done. 13-9 though. We'll see. Schneider's cooled down a little bit. He's down to 121 ADR.
Why is Disco not buying a kit? Is he trying to play a long con here? He's got 2,000. Okay, so he's thinking off, perhaps?
Yeah, later on.
If they win this round, then he could be able to pick up his off. Interesting. I mean, I guess they have 2 kits already on GODSENT, but still.
Yeah, you never want to be in that classic position. Twist is over by long on A, but has not really run into anyone yet, and he seems like he's just trying to buy the time that he can. Not a lot of time being bought here. We have 1 minute and 15 seconds on the clock, and there's an HE and a flashbang left on GODSENT, and Immortals are going to realize this soon enough. Like, when they don't hear any more grenades come out, you know, when there's like 30 seconds gone by and no one's thrown any grenades from the CT side, they should be able to put 2 and 2 together and think, there's something weird here. Maybe we can just do a full execute and flash our way through, and then they can't stop us, you know.
Well, Twist and Schneider are setting up. They've got that boost going. No, they don't. They're both on ramp. Okay. Interesting. But they have fully committed, and we're already rotating the extra man over. Now they realize what's coming. They need to get 1 kill at Twist. He gets 2, does 1 better. Perfectly done. One of the pincers is gone, Anders, and now it's all on the remaining 3 players here for Immortals to somehow get onto the site, but they're just running into a full defense.
Lucas coming up with 2 massive headshots actually brings Immortals back into a position where they could maybe still win the round in spite of everything that started it off with Twist and the double kill. Now they're going for a bit of a boost. This is very dangerous. Pronax coming in with a flank and taking down KNG. Lucas might have to do this all on his own, but he's also being slowly whittled down. He's now got the triple looking for the quad. He gets the headshot and gets the reload in. Now it's Schneider on 100 health versus Lucas on just 6. Looking for the ace to clutch it, and Schneider jumps up. That's so dangerous. But of course he gets the kill, a double as well. 28 frags here. Slowly trying to keep GODSENT in the qualifier and make them move on here. 14-9. In Immortals, another heartbreaking round for them, but at least they have money to buy. That's the one thing that we can really take away from this.
They had plenty still in the bank. They will be spending most of that in this round, but I'm just amazed at how well Lucas has played this round. Look at that, the 2 big kills. When everybody had rotated pretty much over from GODSENT's side, Lucas somehow brings it back to a 3-on-3, just eliminates Twist's efforts at the beginning of the round. But that's how, I mean, both of these teams are very balanced right now, Anders. This is looking good. 14-9. Definitely still possible here for Immortals. Just keep in mind, GODSENT, they were ecoing. They don't have much money in the bank. You can see they're pretty much flat broke. So there's a real chance here for Immortals to get very close to tying things up.
That is the silver lining, if ever there was one.
Double up on T side, though. Not something you see every day.
Bit of a strong setup over here towards the B side for GODSENT. 4 men holding Disco, Doblin by the chicken coop. Pronax being boosted up and actually hiding at the edge of the smoke here with a UMP. But when you have this kind of weapon, maybe it's worth it to try and go a bit aggressive and catch someone off. Is he going to be flashed in, or is he just going to try and do it raw with the UMP? He will, and he gets a headshot and the damage on Henny. Even without a kill, that's still pretty good.
Yeah, Henny actually wallbangs through Lucas, it looks like. But okay, then, whatever works. You've got the kill on Pronax. Micro holding close. Seems like he's going to change it up. They might be a little bit worried about drop here, GODSENT. But there's Disco. He's got his AWP from Chicken Coop. Finds the first pick. Back into a 4-on-4, and Disco still alive. A lot of damage being put out here by Lekro, who's holding solid on the site. And only 30 seconds left, but patience is rewarded. Immortals, they find 1 kill from Steel.
They're solo on health. Almost all of them are. Steel goes down as well. Twist and Schneider holding it up, and now Henny will find one with the AWP. Only 18 seconds left. Henny, one more shot rings out. Schneider goes down, and Immortals turn the round. 2 health, 18 health, and they still make it work. A triple kill for Henny. This is an absolutely thunderous match. Both teams fighting to stay in the qualifiers. Schneider finding a bit harder than everyone else. He's got 29 kills, but if you look at the scoreboard, 25 kills on Henny. He has been a beast suddenly, out of nowhere, because it was Steel, and even Lucas doing a lot of the work, and Henny's just come out of nowhere to drop all these kills. 14-10, and now GODSENT got no money once again. Brought up some pistols, which you can't blame them for. They've had good success with them in the past.
They've done some damage. If Schneider can get into a spot, he's holding close with that CZ. Pronax there to back him up, and Pronax hoping to get lucky with that HE. Just not going to happen this time. He's hearing the footsteps, though. And this is going to be that stack here on the B side for GODSENT. Pronax tries to commit. Schneider not able to capitalize either. Lucas with 2 big entries onto the site.
They are still pushing into the stack, but you know what? It's working. They're getting the kills. A bit of a team grenade there. Steel, I think he maybe got headshot by Twist before that grenade fell in, because that was pretty funny. Ultimately, 11-14 here, and the money's still not there for GODSENT. Going to be another round of eco before they can fight it. So, I mean, they're going to have a rifle round when it's 12-14, unless they upset this round. They are buying 2 HE grenades. Anyway, assuming they don't win this round, it could very easily, if they lose the next rifle round, GODSENT is what I'm trying to say, then it bounces from like 11-14 to 14-14. Like it's that quick if you're GODSENT. So
I'm impressed with Steel though. 96 ADR, he's got like 9 assists. It's like, okay then, bro. Like, guy's actually doing some work here. I mean, he had those rounds at the beginning of the half, right, to keep his team in the fight. But he's certainly come back into it. 9 assists on his side.
Yeah.
Still doing damage.
They would have lost the game already if Steel hadn't been playing the way that he has. It's good to see that he's been backed up. That's one of the most frustrating things to watch, is if a team has one player that's really going deep, and he's doing it like the whole game, but no one can, like none of the other teammates wake up. That's not true for Immortals right now. You just, the fear in the back of your mind is that they woke up too late, you know, that it wasn't early enough that they got this whole thing up and running. And KNG, though, he's strangely absent, and I've seen this from other Immortals games in this qualifier, that he's been struggling a bit to hit even, I think, some easy shots. Pronax, who has actually had some decent games in this qualifier, is now sort of suffering from a similar fate, right? 9 kills on KNG and 8 on Pronax. Yeah, what a game this is. I can't believe this game is this close.
It's fairly balanced between both of these teams.
Yeah.
4 players in the teens, and then 1 player on each team who's in single digits. But more importantly right now, it's going to come down to whether KNG can shake off the jitters, because if he shows up here for Immortals, that's going to completely turn the tide. But being at a major qualifier is a different beast, and so he might be trying to deal with that mental battle right now, getting his head in the game to hit the level that we're used to seeing from him. GODSENT, however, really, is this back-to-back timeouts? What's going on here?
I think it might be a technical thing.
Is it Doppelin again?
Someone, maybe. You gotta wonder. No, this could Doppler. Never mind. I was gonna say, I wish they could buy 1 more grenade or something. You know this. I love the multiple grenade buys, and on this map, it's very doable. Actually, I think more so than on most maps.
If they keep trying to use their anti-ecos here, Immortals on the B site, you just wait for them to push.
Yeah. And
just chuck out the HEs on the plateau as soon as they actually start committing.
Yeah, I would say have one guy bait on the plateau stairs, and then when he sees that there's like 2 or 3 people there, have both people waiting by the boost box on B, and then just throw the grenades in and hope for the best. Looks like it will be a pretty quick grenade coming in, so maybe GODSENT is going to try and cross in the grenades early. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Patience is key.
Pronax has still got his at least. Oh, but Steel right through.
Goodbye.
Oh, perfect. What? Disco, what a shot.
Oh my god, why are they getting shot in the face this much? Immortals, where's the grenades? Where's all the counters coming in? They've lost 2 players, but they've really got to keep their head in the game right now. Pronax has stolen an AK. He sees the gun barrel there, so he definitely knows that something is up, and Pronax actually lands a headshot. Ridiculously, it's turned into a 2-on-2 with GODSENT losing the early frag and being really heavily countered with that flag, and still they get into this position. A bit of a jump to try and get the AK into play. Pronax goes down, and now Schneider, 1 versus 2. He's going to get dropped by KNG. We're just talking about him, and now he steps up and gets a couple of important kills, although that is not a confidence-building round for Immortals at all.
But not using their utility, again, it's good that you point that out, because you see the differences, right? GODSENT, their executes, lots of nades, not holding anything back, flashes on Molotovs. Here, it really does rely on Immortals just walking out here and taking aim fights. Like that, you've got both of the guys who died at the beginning, at least, were rocking like double flash smoke, right? And so you're just thinking, why not even a single one? Just get them out there, boys. Make your lives just a little bit easier. Every round counts right now. There is no anti-eco, whatever. Every round matters here for Immortals. 12-14. They're still trailing by 2.
It really also feels like when Immortals decide on a bomb site, then that's just where they go, you know? Whereas GODSENT was playing that slightly more annoying T-style where they'd push in sort of halfway to the bomb site, then they'd wait for a while. Think about what it does to the CT side and what kind of calls they have to make. Because the first calls is, oh, they're coming, there's three of them, you know, in B, and they're fighting. Then, you know, 5 seconds pass, and then you have to make a call to your team and say, actually, they're not really pushing all the way in. Now the other people on the other side have to think about, okay, what does that mean? Like, am I rotating or am I not, right? And then, oh, there are more grenades coming in. Oh, they are actually coming, you know, and it does create like a really weird, disjointed situation for the CT side. Immortals, I think, sadly, are a bit more predictable on that front, as in when they really hit, then they just go all in. Disco Dublin, though, missing an important kill there.
Let's set it up. There's a bit of a quasi-bait going on here, where Schneider hiding behind the corner. Do they actually commit the Molotov? Yes, they do. Schneider, you gotta go. Waiting for the flash from his teammate, and sure enough, he will be able to dodge out to safety. In the meantime, the timing for Lekro gets that incendiary down, but gets sprayed down in a hail of bullets in the meantime. And now what's happening? Look at this over-rotate coming in from GODSENT.
Yeah, they're going really heavy on the bomb side, and Bolt's is going to win that fight. Disco Doblin in so much trouble playing Ring Around the Rosie. Are they going to be able to catch him? He will get the kill, and Pronax has picked up one as well. It isn't done yet. Disco Doblin does go down, and that might spell the end of it. Twist is on the bomb site, and he's going to get run over by Lucas and Immortals. Look at them now! They're so incredibly excited. 13 to 14. They win the round. They're almost back. There's no money for GODSENT. This would be major qualifier history if they make this comeback from a 12-3 first half and continuing on. This is not nothing, ladies and gentlemen.
This is pain, is what this is. GODSENT right now, they're in agony. But they will have a very good bye going into the next round. And so it's all or nothing. It's going to be on that 14-14 situation unless something magical happens here. I mean, they still have Kevlar and pistols on 3 of the players for GODSENT. Disco obviously wants to get that AWP and prioritize that. Unfortunately for Disco, he hasn't really had that impact here in the second half. Had a chance in the last round to get that opening kill with the op, and he just wasn't able to shine.
He's moving just as they come around the corner, which is so unfortunate with the deal. You really want to be a bit more prepared, but I guess that's just timing for you. Lecro by the rock. He's been hitting some great deal shots in the past. This time wasn't one of them, and he had quite a few angles anyway, so can't really blame him either. Twist in a 1 versus 5. This is going to be the equalizer. And listen, in Counter-Strike, this is almost a tradition. You make the comeback this far, and then you fail the last 2 rounds. And it's not just something that we say for fun. It is because that's when it gets serious. That's when, even if you don't want to, you remind yourself that, you know, we've almost got it, and the nerves kick up, the tension gets that much higher. People make silly mistakes, so the Immortals, do they have what it takes to complete this? Or from GODSENT's point of view, can they finally close out this game? They got 12 rounds in the first half. My God.
You need that quality that some players have, that quality where they just zone out the score. They completely forget, even. Where hell, Swag had that back in the day, I think, in an interview where he was just like, yeah, you know, I kind of just lost track completely. Didn't even know what round it was anymore. I just, you know, kept, you know, just looking on. One more round, okay, one more round, and then sure enough, right, end of the game, he's like, oh, we're done, okay, right? You need that kind of quality in this sort of situation right now. You need to be able to completely ignore the fact that you are tied up and a spot on the major is on the line. 2 rounds.
I hope all of you watching at home are just absorbing the emotion that's coming out from this. It's so cool. I love everything about this. 3-man stack towards the B bomb site. Very common setup, although, oh, that's a great Molotov to force Schneider off of the boost box. And then the wall of smokes to follow Immortals. They're going to follow through once again, and they're very quick about it, trying to see if they can catch GODSENT off guard. We're now boosting again to get up. Disco Doblin with a kill. KNG gets a massive frag on Schneider, the top fragger, taking him out, and Steel has managed to creep in. The bomb making its way to the A side. There's no one defending it. Disco Doblin and Pronex, it's falling apart right now. KNG gets a kill, and Disco Doblin goes down. KNG, a monstrous round for him after having been invisible almost the entire game. He really steps it up towards the end. 15-14, 1 more round, and Immortals are going to continue in the qualifier and try and see if they can make it all the way. This is amazing.
What's amazing is that they are consistently catching GODSENT in the back. In this round here, they didn't fully commit to plateau. Instead, they wrapped through drop into connector and put pressure on all sorts of different parts of it. You had the 2 players on plateau who stayed alive for Immortals, but more importantly, you had the guys coming from drop and connector who were just wrecking everything for GODSENT. The rotators for May got obliterated. And so now, GODSENT, it's overtime. Is that what you're going to be able to manage here? 4 FAMASs, the MP7.
We've talked about the misuse of utility on the Immortals side in situations like these. You have the grenade. You can make sure that they can't stand close to any position. Molotov them out. Grenade them away from there so that you're not just going to turn the corner and get sprayed down, and then use everything else you get to get on that bomb side and get the bomb down. They don't need to take any risks here, Immortals. Yeah, this should be a very slow round out of them. One good Molotov into the corner. Again, that's might not seem like a lot, but it's important. Henny gonna go for the fight, and he wins it against Twist. Perfect. 4 more kills, and they're gonna keep themselves alive. Schneider gets 1 bullet to the face. Disco Doblin, Lecro with a bit of return, fighting for the overtime. Lecro, he goes down eventually. Still a 2-on-2. There's 40 seconds left, and because Disco Doblin is so low, Pronax might have to do just a lot of work in this round with that one from us. 30 seconds and the jump down, clearly giving the game away here. Molotov in on one side, Pronax has to move, and the Tech 9 is waiting for him. It's Henny instead with the AK to take the kill, and now it's all on Disco Doblin, 12 health in a 1-on-2. Immortals, 12-3 in one half, and they make the full comeback into the 16-14 win. Absolute Counter-Strike history, ladies and gentlemen. On this level, with this much pressure, that's very hard to do. I am absolutely awestruck that they managed to do this, and for GODSENT, it's absolutely heartbreaking. They've had a really rough qualifier. This was actually a game where they turned up in style. They were looking so good, and I mean, look at Schneider wrecking the entire first half and continuing into the second half, and it wasn't enough. No,
it wasn't. It was questionable, but again, I guess we have to put this down to a lack of experience for certain players on GODSENT, not being able to step up. I mean, Lekro tried desperately there in the last round. He nearly had that individual performance that could have carried through, but it was totally absent, just lacking throughout the entire second half. When they got on the CT side, Schneider cooled down. Everybody seemed to just cool down on GODSENT side, whereas they just allowed Immortals, a team that thrives on what? On momentum, essentially, on confidence, and getting that roll. You see them mounting and mounting. They keep shouting louder and louder and louder. That's when they've just gone Super Saiyan basically, and that's when Immortals becomes so difficult to stop. You need to be able to cut that off real quick before it actually gets rolling. And GODSENT just didn't have what it took.
What an incredible match this was, and